Today, we're going to start a multiple-part series about how podcasts make money. Today's episode is going to cover YouTube ad revenue specifically. Welcome to Catching You Up with
Nadav.
First, I'd like to say that this episode is executive produced by my big baller executive producer, Stoned Ape Canico. Without the support of Stoned Ape Canico, I'd probably be underneath this city's sewers doing questionable things to make ends meet. But because of my executive producers, I'm not doing that stuff. And if you'd like to become an executive producer, you can click the Patreon link in the description below and show your support at any level you're comfortable with. As mentioned, this series is going to kick off with looking into YouTube ad revenue. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you know when new videos in this series are uploaded. And while you're at it, comment on this video and rate it. It really helps with the algorithm. So it's no secret that the big ballers of podcasting are printing money. Why else would Spotify pay $100 million plus to acquire Joe Rogan Experience? Actually, that was more of a play for market share, which is working, but that's besides the fact. Some of the most popular ways to monetize your podcast are YouTube ad revenue, Patreon, and sponsored ad reads. So YouTube ad revenue can drastically vary. It all depends how many ads you can squeeze into your content. The longer your content is, the more ads you can fit into it. If your video is shorter than 8 minutes, YouTube drastically throttles how many ads you can put on your video. But if you're over that threshold, YouTube allows you to inject mid-roll ads into your content, which essentially lets you inject as many ads as you goddamn want to. You can see how longer content has an advantage over shorter form stuff on YouTube. Podcasts are just naturally set up to make more money more easily than the shorter content. It's a big reason why you've seen a shift from YouTubers go from shorter form to podcasting. Another big variable of YouTube money is CPM, or how much you get paid per 1,000 views. CPM can drastically change from video to video on the same channel. You can have a CPM on one video be 50 cents, and then the next week an episode of the same podcast will have a CPM of closer to somewhere between $14 and $18. Well, geez, Nadav, that's really volatile. I know, right? Well, what determines your CPM? Well, it's a number of things. It's what niche your video's in, it's who's viewing your video, it's what they're viewing your video on, as in what device, what country they're viewing your video in, and a whole bunch of other variables that will decide how much money you're getting per 1,000 views. So naturally, some demographics are going to be more valuable than other demographics. For example, the age group of 25 and older is more valuable than 18 to 25, or even more 18 and younger. Now you might be asking yourself, why is 25 and older more valuable than the younger crowd? Well, think about what you were like when you were younger than 25. I was much more content with much less. It was the first time I was living away from my parents. I had a shit ton of roommates, and I could make $1 stretch. I wasn't paying for things that I didn't need, outside of $10 cappuccinos and $20 avocado toast. Then I moved back in with my parents, then I moved back out, and then I became a lot more stable, and I was able to purchase nicer things. Granted, I was still buying furniture at IKEA, but I was buying the nicer stuff at IKEA. And that's what makes the 25 and older demographic more attractive. We are more likely to be at a stage in our life where we're buying things that we don't need to survive. You know what's an even more valuable demographic than people older than 25? Women older than 25. Statistically speaking, women have more buying power than men. Why is that? Well, think about most relationships you've either been in or seen. How often have you seen big purchases being made without the dude being like, well, let me check with the missus? I don't know why I went British for that. And how many things does the lady buy for the house that the dude has absolutely no idea about? Pillows, bed sheets, furniture, well, maybe not furniture, Christmas gifts, pet stuff, fucking a whole bunch of things. Lord knows I've seen it. I picked these photos and this ring light, and that's everything else is my lady decided. No, I just thought that was funny. Is this traditionally sexist? Probably. But does that make the demographic any less valuable? No. So if you look at a purchase that was made in a home, more often than not, a woman over 25 is involved in that decision. Hence, women are more valuable than men when it comes to advertising. Something to consider too is that CPMs don't stay constant throughout the year. It varies from season to season, month to month, different catastrophic events. COVID, fucking everything affects CPM. But here's some info I found in an article that isn't too far off. I'll include the link in the description if you're curious. But in a Medium article written by Jason Brody in early 2023, he breaks down some CPMs based on niches. The entertainment niche brings in 50 cents to 10 bucks per 1,000 views, with an average being $2 CPM. News and politics has an average of $5 but can go up to $30. Sports averages at $7 but can go all the way up to 25 bucks CPM. Pets and animals averages at $1.50, while cars and motorcycles average at $3. Beauty/fashion averages at $10 CPM but has a range from $2 to a whopping $50 CPM. Let's plug in the numbers for something that's in the entertainment niche. Let's say it's an hour-long podcast with a CPM of 50 cents and it has 10,000 views. I just plugged that into the old J piano and that comes out to a whopping 50 bucks in YouTube ad revenue. However, let's say a podcast has a CPM of $10 and got 3.6 million views. That comes out to an insane $360,000. Now keep in mind, that's an abnormally high CPM and abnormally high number of views for a podcast. So let's go with the average. Let's say an entertainment podcast has about 150,000 views and a CPM of the average, which is about $2. That comes out to $3,000, and that's a lot more realistic than some of the other numbers I was talking about. And now think about being in the game for over 5 years. It's not like you're just getting a video and it's getting views for a week and then it stops. Over the lifespan of 5 years, that video is getting multiple views a day most likely. Even if it's just a few sometimes, or maybe hundreds on another day, it is slowly just accumulating views. YouTube ad money can be pretty lucrative if you've positioned yourself correctly. One way to position yourself incorrectly is to entirely depend on YouTube ad revenue. If you don't monetize your content in multiple ways, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable to the next possible YouTube ad-pocalypse. What's that? So by my count, there's been 2 that have kind of lasted a year each, but by other people's count, it's a total of 4. But I've condensed 2 of those ad-pocalypses into just one shitty year. So the one in 2017 got set up by YouTube shifting its goals in 2016 to be more family-oriented. With that in mind, one of the biggest content creators on the platform, PewDiePie, had some pretty anti-Semitic and racist videos resurface all at once. Parlay that to the fact that there were weird YouTube channels that were making content for kids that were making really weird shit, along with Logan Paul finding that body in the forest. 2017 was a rough year for YouTube ad revenue. All those things I just mentioned got the UK government, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Johnson & Johnson, and a whole bunch of other huge advertisers to leave the platform in fear that their ad was going to appear on a morally disgusting video. It takes months to recover from each of those incidents, and they were all spaced out within a few months of each other, so as soon as you were starting to recover, something new happened and it kept all the big money away. And it was quiet for a while, but in February of 2019, a YouTuber by the name of Matt's What It Is came out with a video that kind of showed that you can kind of tap into a super fucking weird algorithm on YouTube that, again, is geared towards really fucking morally disgusting videos involving younger folks. And it was fucking disgusting. Big sponsors literally just came back to the platform within a month or 2 of this happening. You just can't catch a break. It just keeps on getting fucking worse and worse. That's right. Sponsors like Disney, Nestle, and AT&T, having just returned back to the platform, have fucked off yet again. Kind of a rough year to be solely dependent on YouTube ad revenue. If you didn't have other methods of income, you were fucked pretty fucking hard. But all you had to do was wait until COVID hit, and then everyone's marketing budgets went up like fucking crazy. Now there's still stuff like YouTube channel memberships and YouTube Premium that will give you sources of revenue that are not dependent on ads. However, they are all still stemming from YouTube, which makes me nervous. It never hurts to be covered from multiple angles on multiple platforms with multiple different revenues of income. And with that, this has concluded part 1 of how podcasts make money. Now would be a good time to subscribe to this video and turn on the notification bell so that you know when the next video is going to come up in the series. And also at the same time, comment on it and rate it. Share it with your friends. It's all good for the algorithm. And right now you are seeing on screen all the names of my producers who have helped support me in creating this content. If you would like to become a supporter or a producer at any level of this show, click the Patreon link in the description below, and you too will be immortalized in these videos coming up. I would like to say thank you for watching this week's episode of Catching You Up with
Nadav, it's okay to die.
And also that, once again, all the information you just heard is...
This is a totally unconfirmed news.